why you should stick with what you picked through the course of your game development project. Coming up. Hey guys, it's Travis Vroman here with another indie game development tip. Tip number 10, stick with what you pick. So basically what this means is picking a technology stack from the very beginning of your development cycle and sticking with it until you finish the game. To some of you, this might seem something that's just obvious that you should do. Like, well, if you pick something, how can you change halfway through? But the amount of times that I've run into developers who decide halfway through that maybe they don't like the game engine that they started making their project on, or maybe they don't like a framework that they started developing something against, they change halfway through. I've been guilty of this myself. In fact, in the last 24-hour game challenge that I did, I actually semi-switched technology stacks halfway through. I started developing the game using JavaScript, and I switched to TypeScript about halfway through. And that was a mistake. I could have saved a lot of time by just sticking with what I chose. Or choosing the right thing to begin with. So like I said, I've made this mistake myself, but a lot of times what happens is it can actually lead to the project never getting finished at all. So a lot of times if you switch game engines halfway through, for example, you may have to re-export all the assets, re-implement everything in the new game engine, and get everything working the way that it was working in the new game engine, which can take a lot of time, and requires a lot of effort and a lot more blood, sweat, and tears that you wouldn't have had to do, or expend rather, if you just stuck with the tech stack that you started with. And a lot of times people will actually make a jump to a different technology stack, and they'll get about halfway or 3/4 of the way through, or sometimes less, through re-implementing everything, and it'll be super demotivating because it's like, man, I've already done this, and now I've got to do it again, and I don't really see any return on investment here. I'm not really getting anywhere with my project, and I just want to go over here and do this thing that's shiny and new. And then the project dies, and it never sees light of day. It's just another one. It's just another thing on the list, the very long list of project killers. So when you're developing any kind of application, whether it be a game or a web application, desktop application, a mobile app, anything, pick a technology stack and stick with it all the way through. Even if it sucks, grind through it and finish the game. Finish the application. Because when you actually release it, then you don't really have to think about it anymore. Once it's released, it's done, it's out there, it's gone. Unless it's something where you have to maintain it, or you've got some sort of maintenance contract or something like that. But for the most part, when you release something, you're done with it. You don't have to think about it anymore. And then for your next project, you can pick a different technology stack. But changing halfway through is super detrimental to progress, and it's a really bad idea, and it's really dangerous for the life of your project, because it winds up killing a lot of projects. I know I personally have had this happen on more projects than I care to count, to be completely honest, and it's a lesson that I've learned over the years the hard way. And so I'm just hoping by sort of driving this point in now, for anybody that might just be starting and watching this video, don't do that. Trust me, you're going to regret it if you do that. You're going to regret changing that technology stack halfway through, and you might even go back to the old way of doing things, and then you will have wasted all that time trying to switch to the new stuff, and it didn't work. And it's just a whole lot of effort that is just unnecessary. Stick with what you originally picked and just roll with it to the end. That's really all I've got on this topic. So let me know if you guys have ever struggled with that for any of your projects, and what the outcome was. I'd be curious to know if any of you have actually been successful with switching technology stacks halfway through a project or so. And if it didn't fail, if it actually worked, I'd like to hear about that. So leave some comments below if that's something that you've ever experienced and been successful with or not successful with. I'd love to hear from you guys either way. So please like the video, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.